Welcome back to The Bloated Chef. I am Chef Jerome, an actual bloated chef. And before we get to today's informative and entertaining tutorial, please be sure to slap down on that like button, click the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and share with the entire planet. Please keep your hands inside the ride at all times, and we thank you. Oh, and we are back on the big board. My poor big board, I mistreated it. Look at it, it's starting to separate. Anyways, there goes a shitload of onions, about a half a dozen or so. I got a couple pints, maybe a pint, a couple 2.5 pints of some assorted mushrooms, buttons, creminis, portobellas, fresh garlic. What started as a French onion soup gratin video has turned into a mashup of creamy mushroom and French onion soup. Or is it creamy French onion and mushroom soup? Who knows? Off we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go ahead and let you know it's like 34 degrees, raining, cold, and every time I move my head it sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Alright, so first things first, maintenance and mise en place, right? That's right, everything in its place, and everything has a place. So, first things first, we're going to blister this poblano pepper, get that outside completely charred, blister the skin, wrap it in plastic, steam it in the classic way, and what businesses has being in either onion soup or cream of mushroom soup, I have no idea, but we're going forward anyways. Yes, sir. So now the big board consists of 5 sliced yellow onions, very thin, 1 red onion, very thin, 2 pints plus 2 portobellas, sliced mushrooms, 1 charred, steamed poblano pepper, fresh thyme, tarragon, dried thyme, fresh sliced garlic, some bay leaves. We've got some marsala and some sherry. Let's start out by getting this pepper charred up. Now then, into my second favorite pan, my 8-quart all-metal Dutch oven, thank you. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, half a cup of melted butter, and in go those 6 onions. 5 yellow, 1 red if you're counting. And did you happen to see the logo? Are those the national championship Georgia Bulldogs? Yeah, I could give a crap less. And speaking of national championships, I don't know. Anyways, olive oil and butter in our secondary pan. There we go with our mushrooms. That's right. I'm going to cook them down, sweat them down, cook all that liquid off, and we go with a hefty amount of fresh cracked pepper and just a teensy weensy bit of flake sea salt or kosher salt. Do not use iodized, I always stress. And as we sweat that liquid out, you can see it releasing all of that worthless water and moisture. But check it out, 2 to 3 minutes later, it's all gone. Time to add that next level of flavor, the sliced garlic. Okay, fresh sliced garlic, half of it. Half in the mushrooms, half in the onions. And we jump back into our big ass pot of onions. We are sweating them down low and slow, medium-low heat. Crushed black pepper, sea salt, looking good. 2 to 3 minutes later, you can see that lovely browning on the bottom. That's the fond. That signifies add the garlic, next level of flavor, equal parts for both. And as we progress towards the point of deglaze, we notice there's no more liquid left. In goes that half a teaspoon of fresh thyme and tarragon. Gonna go ahead and pick these mushrooms up flavor-wise. Really gonna make them pop once we marry these two. And finally we come to the point of deglaze. There goes a half a cup of Marsala wine. That's right, Marsala mushrooms smashed with French onions. All right, while all that's going on, we've got to tend to our poblano pepper. It's all charred. The skin is blistered. Let's rinse it off under the sink. I like to keep a little char myself, but I like char. I'm a little bit whacked out like that. So it's cooked perfectly, just a little bit of tooth left. We'll slice it. We'll flip it sideways. We will dice it. Chop it as big or as small as you want. It's going to pretty much dissolve in the soup and add yet another level. And as we bounce back to the big pot, we'll take basically 1 full teaspoon of ground thyme, highly concentrated. We want to kind of inject these onions with that dried thyme, concentrated thyme, because it's going to mix up with the fresh thyme in the mushrooms. See? You dig? Back to our onion, we grab a couple 2-4 dried bay leaves, give that about a 30-second stir, and in goes about a half a cup of Frank Gifford's favorite dry sack sherry. Yes, sir. And once we reduce that sherry, in goes a 1/4 cup of what's this here sauce, as we cook that down over medium-low heat and get some nice caramelization. The marriage is now complete. Mushrooms have married onions, and they're going to be smashed together in the same soup. What on earth is this fool going to come up with here? Now at this point, all the liquid is gone. That's about a 1/4 cup of flour. All-purpose works just fine. As we create that, whip it smooth, make sure there's no lumps. Now we can go ahead and add our stock. Now, vegetarians, look away. Run away! I'm adding beef stock first, I know. It's a vegetarian dish, and you can skip this step, which I know you will. So, next up, we see our little bubbles. The stock is taken to the roux. It's popping. Listen, you can hear it. As it separates, it sucks. And I mean it's suction. That means that roux is ready. So in we go with our vegetable stock. Vegetarians rejoice. Alright, so our first addition is about 2.5 to 3 cups of stock. We check the thickness. It's still too thick, but in go those peppers. We want those to cook up and finish up in that beautiful broth. Not quite thin enough yet. In we go with 1 cup at a time, low and slow over medium-low heat. Trust me, just go ahead and take your time with this part. Alright, 2 cups of stock later, and in goes just this teeny-weensy bit. It turns out it was about a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and that's all we're going to need. Because remember, at its heart, this is a French onion soup. It's supposed to be more brothy than creamy, but we're meeting it right in the middle, right? Alright, so let's get a little garnish together. Got a couple 2 tree green onions. Off we go with those, and we'll throw them in there too as well. What do you think? Are we about ready? Well, not so fast, my friends. This dish is screaming for acid, of course. Gonna cut through all that cream. Wonderful stock. So there goes about half a lemon. Squeeze through. Now let's get a taste of this thing, and let's put this thing together, shall we? Now then, let's work on our gratin. Yes. Grab a couple pieces of bread, preferably white. Doesn't matter. Could be wheat, could be pumpernickel. If it's stale, even better. Alright, so we'll shave the edges off. Now we're going to go ahead and douse these, or brush these if you wish, in olive oil, a little bit of seasonings, salt and pepper, of course. And we're going to go ahead and actually pan-sear these before we drop them in the soup. How cool is that? And in we go with about 2 teaspoons of the famed Irish Kerrygold butter, of course. Me? Would I use anything else? Nope! Anyways, let's get those nice and evenly cooked on one side. Give them the flip. Looking pretty tanned. We want to go darker than that. Yes, we do. And, ooh, that's about right. Maybe even a tad bit darker. So we get that crunch underneath all that yummy melted cheese. Right? Right. Next to last step, let's go ahead and drop our soup evenly portioned to each bowl. Yes, please, and thank you. In we go with our Brazilian tanned toast points. That's right. Look at that. Next up, a melange of shredded cheese and sliced cheddar. That's Gruyere, mozzarella, and sliced cheddar cheese. But literally grab anything you have in the fridge, shred it down, slice it down, drop it on top, into an oven. Trust me, this is going to come out amazing. Well, we have set the oven on high broil. Put them in the oven for a little less than 5 minutes. And looky loo. That's right, now we'll take the last bit of those sliced green onions. Now then, get a gander at this. How good does that look? All kidding aside, the edges are bubbling. Now it's time to taste. Yep, yeah, don't lose a drop. There you go. Don't lose a drop. Let's see. Woo! Little bit hot. Thinking he likes it. Oh, there's one. Oh, that's 2 thumbs up. Oh, a double pizza and a chest pump. Apparently he digs it. All right, well, there's like some melted cheese hanging. I guess that's for effect, right? Yeah. Now this is way too good. Easy. And thankfully, at the end of a long day like this, I can just sit down on my recliner and relax. But wait, what? Oh boy.